I have traveled to 6 continents, but have barely seen any of the United States.
Let's go.
When I realized this, I committed to seeing more of my own country, which is arguably one of the most diverse landscapes of any country in the world. But if I'm going to see the USA, I might as well start at one of its most beautiful places, right? In this video, I'm taking you along on my trip to Arizona, where I go off-roading in Sedona, squeeze through Antelope Canyon, and marvel at the beauty of both Horseshoe Bend and the Grand Canyon. This video was filmed prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. My trip started with an early morning flight from Chicago to Phoenix, where I jumped in a rental car and worked my way north. My first stop was at Pink Jeep Tours in Sedona, where I did the 3-hour Broken Arrow and Scenic Rim combo tour. After climbing into the colorful Jeep, I held on tight through the winding, unpaved back roads as we headed up to Schnellby Hill Road to see the towering red rock formations and picturesque views worthy of the Hollywood Western movies that have been filmed here. The Jeep makes many stops along the way for stunning photo ops. Wait, we're gonna drive up that. The grand finale was the road of no return, where I clung on to the Jeep for dear life as we went down its steep descents.
All right, on Chey! Nailed
it! P.S. This isn't sponsored or anything, I just really enjoyed it. After the tour, I jumped back into my rental car and hightailed it for my Airbnb in Flagstaff. Good morning, everybody. I'm in Flagstaff right now, and I'm really excited about that. I didn't do any vlogging yesterday. I feel really bad, and I didn't really realize it until the end of the day because everything just happened so quickly. Sedona is just one of those really cool places that I had been to in the past, like just kind of driving through, and didn't really get to explore anything. And so this time I was really excited to actually get out there, go four-wheeling, actually see what's kind of beyond just the main strip of shops and restaurants, and actually get to go into the mountains. So that was definitely a highlight of the trip so far, probably because it's really the only thing that I've done so far. And then I drove an hour north of there when I was done and went to the coolest Airbnb I will probably ever stay in. It's an Airstream. I'm so excited. For anybody who doesn't know, I really love RVs, and so the fact that I could actually stay in one for a couple of nights was really exciting, and especially like an Airstream, because I would never actually be able to afford one of those, and it's really cool just to get the experience of staying in one for a little bit. I'll give you a little tour of the Airstream. I've got a bed to sleep in, a makeup area to get ready in, a shower that I can actually fit in, and if you were even taller than me, you could fit in here too. An adorable kitchen area to cook in, and a little mini fridge, perfectly sized for all the food that I didn't make in this RV. We've got a pantry. And my favorite area is the lounge area. It's actually super comfortable, and I love the massive windows. And the cool thing is you can rotate the TV from the lounge area over to the bedroom area. Pretty nifty. And I can actually link the Airbnb as well down below, so that if you want to stay in an Airstream when you're in Flagstaff, you can do that too. I woke up pretty early this morning, got ready, and am now on my way to what I am calling the Arizona Instagrammer's Paradise Tour. It started off yesterday in Sedona, but I'm headed 2 hours north, driving up to Antelope Canyon, and I snagged pretty much the last spot on any tour that there was available for this weekend. It's a holiday weekend, so everything around here is a little crazy, and I'm gonna do the Upper Canyon tour today. I am here by myself, which I'm actually really excited about. A lot of people, when they have asked me if I'm traveling solo since I've been here, have kind of looked at me like I had two heads when I said yes, but honestly, like, nobody wanted to come, nobody could come, and I'm not gonna not do something just because because I don't have somebody else to do it with me. I really, want to see more of this country. That's been a big goal of mine this last year, and I've done pretty well with it. And I figured, hey, if I have 3 days, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to go do something exciting that I have wanted to do for a long time. So here I am in Arizona, pre-coffee, hitting the road, and I will be there in about 2 hours. So enjoy the road trip B-roll.
2 things to note about this tour. 1, you can't bring any bags with you, even a fanny pack, so plan to wear something with large pockets or just hold your stuff like I did. 2, pay close attention to your tour time. The tour schedule was on Pacific Daylight Time, but my GPS picked up multiple different time zones on my drive over, and a panic attack ensued, so just, plan accordingly. My tour group loaded into a bus and headed toward the Slot Canyon. To see Antelope Canyon, you have to book a tour through an approved tour company, as you're not able to hike it yourself. Equally, because the land belongs to the Navajo Nation and has great spiritual significance, and because there is a risk of flash flooding. I booked the Upper Antelope Canyon Scenic Tour with Chief Sosi. I booked this whole trip about 2 weeks out and felt very fortunate to have secured a spot. I would highly recommend booking as far in advance as you can. My guide was super informative and started the tour by showing us how these slot canyons were formed. Antelope Canyon was formed over thousands of years of flash flooding. Water would find its way into a crack in the rock bed, which wore at the Navajo sandstone rock face before emptying into the Colorado River and now into Lake Powell. These flash floods were followed by hot, dry periods where sandstorms buffed the canyon walls to a striated, swirled finish which you see today. My tour was at the perfect time, where sun rays glowed through the opening above the canyon, giving the whole place a mystical and outer-worldly feel. And while it's easy to find the beauty and edit this B-roll together for you, the reality looks a little bit different.
So if you ever want to know what it actually looks like at Antelope Canyon, it looks like this.
There you go.
There's groups coming in and out. Everyone's going in every direction. I'm actually pretty stressed in here.
It was still a great tour, and I am thrilled to have done it. Just keep in mind, if you're claustrophobic and don't like crowds, this is not the tour for you. Many other slot canyons in the area haven't been made as popular by Instagram yet, which might offer a more secluded way to experience the slot canyons. After leaving Antelope Canyon, I made the short 10-minute drive to Horseshoe Bend.
So me and 1,000 of my closest friends have made it to Horseshoe Bend. It's about a 1.5 mile hike each way down to go see it. I'm excited to see if it lives up to the hype. It's completely in the sun, and I'm here at about 1 o'clock, so maybe not the brightest idea on my part, but I figured it might be less busy. I figured there'd be less crazy people like me trying to get out there right now. Let's go see if it's worth the hype. So the walk out here took like 5 minutes. It was super easy, actually. Again, just watch your feet because it's definitely really hot. And you pretty much walk right up to the spot that everybody takes their main photos at, which is kind of cool. So it doesn't take a lot to get here. It costs $10 to park at the parking lot, and I don't really know what else there is to do here. I'm definitely gonna do a little bit more exploring than that just to make it worth my while. Pro tip, if you're coming to Horseshoe Bend, walk all the way down to the end, past all of the tourists, because you can still get that great middle shot, and there's just nobody around me, which makes this all the better. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was a little bit overrated until I went further out and there's less people, and now it's amazing. So it occurred to me that there was a really long segment that I wasn't recording for. I thought I was, and was just kind of like looking out over the edge and no tourists were around. It was just me. And when I got back to my camera, I noticed it wasn't recording, and I'm not even mad about it. Honestly, sometimes you just need to take a moment and like enjoy where you're at, enjoy the peace and quiet, and recognize when you're happy. I don't know, I just had a moment where I was looking out just thinking, I'm so happy right now, and that's why I do this. It's for me, not for anybody else. Whew, it is brutally hot outside. It's 101 degrees out, and I just checked the weather, and my next stop, which is 88 degrees, and that's gonna feel amazing compared to this. Definitely stop by Horseshoe Bend. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, heading out for my next stop. I have about a 2.5 hour drive, and I'll tell you where we're going when we get there. So I left Page and drove about 2 hours, and now I'm here at the last stop on my tour. Can you guess where I am? The Grand Canyon!
Some fun facts about the Grand Canyon include, it was carved over 6 million years ago and exposes nearly 2 billion years of Earth's geological history. This is the second most popular national park in the US, behind the Great Smoky Mountains. The Grand Canyon is bigger than the state of Rhode Island, and to give you some perspective, the drive between the North and South Rim Visitor Center would take about 4 hours. There are no dinosaur bones in the Grand Canyon, as the canyon itself probably didn't even form until long after the dinosaurs were gone. Even though Gila monsters, bighorn sheep, and 6 species of rattlesnake live here, the most dangerous animal in the park is the rock squirrel. Yes, each year dozens of visitors are bitten when trying to feed them. You guys, I found the prettiest point in the Grand Canyon. I'm not even kidding. Go to Moraine Point, park closer to the north side, so like on your left when you're first coming in. No one's over here. They're all over at the viewpoint, not here. This is awesome. I have no idea what stops are good, bad, or otherwise along the Grand Canyon, so I'm just stopping at every single viewpoint that I possibly can before the sun sets. Just gonna hustle through and get to as many viewpoints as I can. Go, go, go! Ending my day at the Grand Canyon was indeed the cherry on top to this fantastic day. It was a happy accident that I came as the sun was setting, because golden hour brought even more light and beauty into this spectacular place. And if you're planning on a similar trip, I'd highly recommend planning your day in the same order that I did. Bye. After an unforgettable day yesterday, it was time to head back towards Phoenix to catch my flight home tonight. But I couldn't pass up a few more stops in Sedona along the way. This is Chapel of the Holy Cross. It is a chapel that's literally built into the rocks around it, so it's quite the sight. It's free to go inside. They're open from 9 to 5 every day. It's definitely worth checking out if you're in Sedona, and the views up here are gorgeous, so if nothing else, just stop for the views. So the coolest thing about Sedona is you can just walk around. You don't need to have plans of things to do. There's so many cool like turn-off points that have awesome hikes. Everywhere you look is an amazing view. So I think that's part of the charm of Sedona. Oh, fantastic. Just broke my flip-flop. So one thing I learned when I was in Sedona is that they believe that there is a spiritual vortex in some areas of Sedona, kind of surrounding the city, and they do vortex tours and everything where you can go like feel where the vortex is, and you may feel it in some areas but not in others. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. I think there's clearly something special about this place, you know, whether you believe all of that or not, because I don't know, something about being here just makes me happy. Gee, I wonder what that is. Maybe because there's a beautiful view around every corner, people are friendly, there's lots to do and see, and it's just a great place to be in nature and explore.
overall, it's definitely been a 10 out of 10 trip to Sedona and Flagstaff and Page and the Grand Canyon. And sadly, I have to go home now. So I'm gonna drive 2 hours back to Phoenix and fly home from there. It's been a great weekend. I'm very happy I did something. And again, it's just a great lesson that even if you don't have anybody to go with you, don't let that stop you. It's still an amazing experience, even if you're by yourself. I really enjoyed my time. Hope you enjoyed watching. Till next time.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a boop, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video.